relationships that were formed to maintain the ego thought system in your awareness. Now they can also be given over to the spirit and used to transform your experience of relationship and then transcend specialness altogether. One primary thing that you must do when this is happening for you is to understand that most of the relationships immediately in your life when you begin this journey are going to be solely devoted to the egoic thought system. They were set in place to maintain it, and to that end, they are not where you're going. So what you want to do is hand back everyone that you've learned to love and appreciate, who seems to have loved and appreciated you, to the spirit, and allow them to be given back into your life in a purified, cleansed way. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what it means is that instead of there being 7.5, 8 billion in the world, whom you could be truly helpful to at any moment, you set aside a very small, special enclave of those who need you and who you need and who you want to keep all locked into place. And so the Spirit's saying, you're not being asked to downgrade those that you've learned to love in your life. You're being asked to upgrade the other 8 billion so that when the phone rings and you're being guided to be truly helpful with someone, you don't judge it based on the past to whom you answer. So you don't say, oh, well, it's my mother that's calling, so obviously I must take care of her first. You simply go, who am I to take care of here? How can I be truly helpful? And those that are truly helpful in every instance, for everyone, can be given in that moment, because you're going to transcend those ego reciprocity bonds. So one of the wonderful things that I've discovered was that everyone and all the love that they've given me and all of the support very often they've given me in my life comes with me. Now, how can I express my gratitude to them if I'm no longer dealing with people in that egoic reciprocity way? If I'm no longer saying, well, they did this for me, so I should do that for them. How do I express my gratitude? And I often think of the analogy of people in the early days when in a rural farming community, someone was bright enough to perhaps win a scholarship to go to college, and yet more was needed. So the entire community would club together to send that person to college, because that person going to college on behalf of the community was this experience of like a leap forward for everyone, that they would be bringing back so much to the community, this sense of giving back. But they couldn't give back unless they actually went. And right now, in these early steps of releasing specialness, you're in an experience of you're not giving back to specific people. You're giving to a thought system your entire devotion, and you can't do that unless you move completely into that thought system. And so I like to think that the very nature of how I'm able to do what I'm doing every day and all the gratitude I feel for everyone who's ever supported me can only blossom if I actually do what the support was for, which was to take these leaps of courage and faith and move forward into this absolute new, pristine experience of forgiveness. So, in fact, my gratitude needs to be expressed by simply doing the forgiveness that I've been freed up to do. So for me, that allowed me to feel like I was transmuting this sense of guilt and these old beliefs in reciprocity and really transcending them by putting all that love and devotion into this forgiveness in every moment. One of the other ways in which I was able to transcend many of these links and bonds that seem to be there and seem to be so instilled in our society was to understand that if I was doing what was guided in every moment by the Spirit, then whomever those I loved needed would be there for them in the same moment. It might just not be me. And I've seen so many times that who was needed in a moment, wow, they were so much better served than it being me. That was, that's gobsmacking for a start, that I was better out of the picture many times. Those that could really meet them at the level they were working at and who they really needed day in, day out for things could then show up in their life, as long as I wasn't, half-heartedly occupying that space in their lives. Once I was fully answering my calling, those who could be truly supportive and helpful to family and friends could, rush in, like angels rush in to fill those roles and those functions in their lives, as long as I was not half-heartedly dangling in the middle, feeling guilty. So it's kind of twofold. You must, if you want to honor those who have ever loved you, move forward into a full experience of forgiveness and releasing specialness entirely, which means not seeing them as diminished in some way, not seeing them as not Christ, but seeing them as powerful and in their magnitude as and already whole and complete. And so many times our specialness is in that we like to see ourselves in relation to someone. They are either weak and need us in some way, or we're weak and need them in some way and they're strong. Either way, you can feel there's like a lot of hooks in there, and there's a lot of binding and a tying. And all of the love is really based on weakness, either my weakness or your weakness, whichever it is. And we're going for a state of mind where everyone is seen as Christ and everyone is seen as whole and complete. And in that way, we also understand that it's the Holy Spirit that takes care of people. People don't take care of people. People don't even love people. People don't even often like people. So really, you're surrendering the idea that you can personally love another person, because that also allows you to see you can't personally hate another person. That entire thought system is what's mistaken. If you free yourself up from the specialness, then the love simply is. It's simply rushing through and it's available to everyone you meet. And the intimacy is so high, don't worry. There is no loss when you let go of this specialness. In fact, it's going to be a gushing, rushing experience of the love. But there does seem to be almost like a little gap that you traverse for a very short while. Really, it's only an instant. It's a deep breath where you go, I'm going all out for love here, and I'm willing to trust that everyone that I've ever loved is also doing the same and are on the other side of this perceived little gap. And so you want to really steel yourself for one moment and say, I've done my best my entire life, and it has not made those I spend my life with or myself happy. And so there must be another way. And in releasing that hold on those rules of reciprocity and specialness that I have, I'm opening both myself and those I associate with to a whole new level of intimacy. My experience is that I can spend just a few moments with people and we have this really deep connection that lasts for years. Rather than this, I'll come over every Friday and I'll sit here for a few hours and we'll half-heartedly watch Netflix or TV or something, or go for a walk and, say the same things every time. No, I have these heightened peak moments with everyone. Every moment now is a peak moment with everyone. And it is immensely gratifying, immensely satisfying, immensely uplifting for all of us involved. And even if it's deep healing, even if it's a grievance being relieved, even if it's somebody needing to shout something because they're distraught and upset and angry at you, great, bring it on. I don't want to keep anything down and suppressed and tight and huddled. I really want to set the captives free. I really want everyone in my life to feel freed up and welcome to this fresh feeling of aliveness and real love, because love is robust. And it doesn't need to manage or handle anything. It's able for everything. It's just able. It just is. It's receptive to all. And so all calls for love are answered. But you cannot wait to look in time and see if you have been personally received in what you believe you've extended. And so that can be a trick of the light sometimes. Walking straight ahead, giving as you're guided to give, extending the love, extending the forgiveness first and foremost to your experience of yourself, and trusting, development of trust, and just opening your heart and mind to who is in front of you. And I find that if I give my full attention to whoever's been given to be right in front of me in this moment, then I thereby love everyone who's ever been in front of me. And very fast, there's a changing out of faces, but the love just increases. So it's as if you're in relationship with one, and the intimacy just increases no matter what face is in front of you. And so it's very exciting, it's very centering, it's very gentle, and it's not at all like a leap into nothingness, loneliness, and emptiness. In fact, you're going to have to let go of the loneliness to step into this level of intimacy.